based on the adventures of a family of undercover superheroes who are forced into action to save the world. The Incredibles video game delivers non-stop excitement.
I'm out of here.
People play games for a lot of different reasons. One of them is because they want to be transported to another world. Well, we're taking you to the Incredibles world, and we're letting you be incredible. Be the Incredibles, if you will. When you look at the quality of the film and the quality of the game and the amount of variety and great graphics, amazing places, a very distinct look and feel and style, it's got everything that you want out of an interactive entertainment title.
Now, you're probably thinking why a grown man wants to play a game made for kids. Well, random theoretical person who I do not know. The reason I am playing this game is because I could never finish it as a kid due to this mission and the general difficulty level of this game. Now, being the perfectionist that I am, as a kid I tried and tried and tried to do this mission and never could. So I decided that one day when my brain has reached maximum development and I have gained all the brain cells I could possibly need, I would try again, and today is that day. So, how is The Incredibles in 2021 and proof that this game is not made for kids? One of the best things about this game, by the way, is before you even hit start, Samuel L. Jackson starts talking to you, and it's great. He even talks you through the controls at the beginning of the game during the tutorial section.
Reach out and grapple onto those things. They'll get you across. Press. That's right. Swing, girl. Swing.
However, this excitement soon wears off, as anyone who has played this game will know the camera sucks. It's inverted and it's horrible, and in case this video has inspired you to play this game yourself, I'm going to do you a favour and show you how to change the camera. Honestly though, I'm going to cut the 8-year-old me some slack, as I really am not surprised I couldn't finish this game as a kid with this horrible camera. So as we kind of get into this, the controls are very basic and the game gets really repetitive very quickly. You literally just press X to jump, square to light attack, triangle to heavy attack, and then circle to pick up people and throw them. There are also other abilities, like you can combine X with triangle to do like a slam attack with Mr. Incredible, but that's about as far as the controls go. So I remember playing these early missions so well and really enjoying them as a kid. The only problem is I didn't really get to play enough with the other characters, as I got to that mission that shall not be named and couldn't get past it. However, I found after completing the game that a lot of the best missions actually take place in the beginning, when they're kind of introducing you to everyone. They do this in a really specific way, where they play a clip of the movie and then they make you play the next section of the story, which they nail in the beginning of the game. Some might call this lazy from a creative perspective, but I could see what they were kind of going for. They wanted to add more depth to the moments that are very, very short in the movie, and I thought they handled it okay. For example, the part with Mr. Incredible and the bank robber at the beginning of the game is a moment of comedic relief, which then leads into a pretty cool gameplay sequence, where you have to hang on to the child version of Syndrome so you can get the bomb off him.
Bon voyage.
Monsieur Incroyable!
And Incrediboy!
Incredible?
Hey, aren't you curious about how I get around so fast? See, I have these rocket boots.
Go
They're
home,
made
buddy.
What?
Now.
Petit mifle, va.
The key to making this type of game structure work, though, is the amount of time that you make the player play out these sequences, as it can get old. But like I said, they nail it at the start of the game. So this dash mission, I actually really struggled with as a kid. I couldn't get a hang of the speed of the game, and it just took me forever to do it. But it's actually super easy and really fun. You just kind of keep to one side and occasionally move in and out. I like this mission, and it was my favourite mission at this point. So, funnily enough, it actually turns out that the mission I could not do as a kid happened to be the second best mission in the game, behind the dash mission that comes before it. It's actually really fun, and I have no idea how I couldn't complete this mission as a kid. It takes a moment to kind of get used to the patterns of the robot, but once you learn them and you know how to counteract it, it becomes quite straightforward, but in a good way. The game then falls into a bit of a trap that is easy for video games to do, and that is when it seems to run out of ideas, so it makes you play the same mission again, just with increased difficulty. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, as games like Dark Souls made its name from having harder bosses as the game progresses with the same gameplay style. However, in this game it just comes off as lazy and bland, which means it's a lot more likely that the player will get annoyed. So at this point in the game you fight a tank, which is super annoying until you realise that it's literally all about patience and waiting for the right moment. Again, this is also fine to a certain extent. The problem this game has, however, is that it repeats the boss battle against Syndrome's robot, only this time it's kind of bigger, it's harder to kill, and the location is different. Combine this with a rubbish inverted camera and you create a situation that can easily be rage-inducing for players. This is a mission where I realised you could change the camera so it was normal, which actually helped a bit, but you realise quickly that the camera is just bad. It doesn't matter much if you change it. It does help, but it doesn't help massively like you'd expect. But then again, if the camera was changed from the start, then I probably would have learned how to control the camera more quickly and it wouldn't have been so much of an issue. The problem comes though with the camera, as it is really slow, it doesn't move quickly enough, and it's manually controlled with the right stick, so sometimes it gets stuck when trying to move it. And I know it wasn't my controller, as I actually bought a PS5 controller to play my PS3 games with, as the PS3 controller is too small for my hands. But anyway, it turns out that the extra brain cells didn't help, and I'm not sure they expected kids to complete this game with this god-awful camera and the relentless robot. I mean, this mission is hard. I did it, but I don't understand how this is like made for kids, because I would completely understand if they just thought, you know what, I give up, I'm not going to play this. You know what though, from my perspective I thought it was good practice for when I get a PS5 and can finally play Demon Souls. But moving on. So the next mission is literally the same fight against another tank. Now, I'm not saying they were lazy when they made this game, but I think they may have pressed Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V and then added some health and called it a boss fight. It's ridiculous. Then you end up at this mission, and I hated it with a passion. I was so done at this point. It's everything that was wrong with this game, but in one mission. It's long and repetitive, and I just wanted to play with other characters, as Mr. Incredible sucks. If you don't believe me, I'll sum up the mission in a few seconds for you. Oh, and yeah, they have these puzzles which are okay, but because the game's camera sucks and the characters don't lock on properly to the items in the world, everything takes way longer than it should. Thank God that's over. And finally, now is the moment we get to play someone else. The Dash and Violet mission is actually a breath of fresh air and reminds me of the Sonic games in a way. The only criticism I have of this mission is that you have to listen to the words, "this way." And trust me, you'll be hearing that a lot, by the way. But yeah, this mission makes you work as Dash and Violet. I don't remember if you know from the movie, but in the movie they have this scene where the people come and start shooting at Dash and Violet, and she forms a bubble force field thingy around Dash and they run. So this basically mission is an extension of that, the movie, and you basically just have to go around and it's kind of like you're a bowling ball, in all honesty. I don't know if you ever played those mobile games where you have to kind of keep the ball in certain places and move it and then not fall off the edge. I can't remember what it's called, but it's sort of like those games. Now I'm making it sound really, really lame, but trust me, it's actually quite fun. So before I say what I'm about to say, I just wanted to start by saying I love the two Incredible movies, and the first one is my top 2 animated movies of all time, and is the reason I bought the game when I was 8. But unfortunately, the nostalgia that I felt before playing this game again can't save it. It's not awful by any means, but there is so much wrong with this game, and it's part of the reason the movie tie-in games get such a bad reputation. This isn't helped by the very basic controls. For example, A is jump, B picks up stuff and people, X is light attack and Y is heavy attack, with A and Y providing a smash attack like the WWE wrestling move. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I found a particular mission hard as a kid, and it turns out it was pretty fun, but overall easily enough. This actually turned out to be the best mission, as it set up kind of the way that they were going to do the boss fights, but The problem is the boss fights aren't very good once you pass this mission, because they just get a bit ridiculous. The game then decided to slam my confidence back into the ground when I had to fight it again, and nearly drove me to insanity because of the camera. And it's just such a shame because it ruined the whole experience. I think if the camera was fixed, like you probably are aware, it would have fixed 80% of the issues. And overall this game is just, well, it's meh. It's fine. Would I recommend it? Probably not, to be honest, and it's really hard for me to say that, as I love The Incredibles and the Dash missions are really cool, and even the Mrs. Incredibles missions, now that I think of it. But unfortunately the majority of the game is just played as Mr. Incredible, and he sucks, to be honest. His novelty wears off really quickly and it gets really stale. It's so boring, honestly. Just to give you kind of another example, you're meant to have a super strength, that's like the whole point of Mr. Incredible, and it takes like 4 punches just to knock someone over, and then like a 5th to knock them out, and it gets to the point where you have so many people on screen and you just have to keep spamming the buttons, and it just turns into a spam fest, and it just makes the game boring. The camera is awful, so everything takes longer than it should, and he's just really slow as well. What I would suggest is using the cheat code to unlock all the missions and changing the camera, and then just playing the best missions. I think that's what I would have done if I wasn't playing this game to make a review video, as it's just really boring, and I'm so disappointed as I wasn't expecting it to be the case at all. I was really excited to play this game, and it's really sad as it's going to be one of the first videos on my channel that I have to recommend that you stay away from, as it's just not worth your time unless you play certain missions and forget about the campaign. I think, if I remember correctly, this game took me about 5 to 6 hours to complete, but that felt like 12. But it's really up to you. It depends what your kind of threshold is for repetitive gameplay. I mean, I'm very much the kind of person where I need that constant development and new stuff coming into the game so that I'm learning and not getting bored. But if you're just kind of a casual gamer and you just want to kind of sit down and do it every couple of nights and you won't get bored, that's fine. But I would just bear in mind that you are bound to get annoyed by at least one mission in this game. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description to the page with all the cheat codes on. You're welcome. If you've played it, let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more. Thank you and bye.